Hello, dear one. I'm sitting in the quiet of my living room late at night, just like I always do when these memories come flooding back. The house is silent now, the clock ticking softly on the wall, and outside, the streetlights cast a gentle glow through the curtains. I have a cup of chamomile tea cooling beside me, but I haven't touched it yet. My hands are wrapped around an old photo album instead, the one I haven't opened in months. Tonight is my 70th birthday. I turned 70 today. And here I am alone looking at pictures of celebrations from years ago. Cakes with candles, laughter around the table, my son Mark's arm around me, his wife Lisa smiling beside him, and their children, my grandchildren, climbing into my lap. Those days feel like another lifetime now. I remember the exact moment it hit me hardest. It was this afternoon. The phone rang and my heart leaped a little. The way it still does even after everything. It was Mark. "Happy birthday, Mom," he said, his voice warm but hurried. "We're thinking of you. The kids are busy with school stuff, and Lisa's got a big work thing. Maybe we can come by next weekend." Next weekend. Not today. Not even a quick visit. No card in the mail, no flowers, nothing. Just words over the phone. I told him it was fine, of course. "Don't worry about me," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I'm just having a quiet day." But after I hung up, I sat down right here on this couch and the tears came. Silent ones, the kind that slip down your cheeks without a sound. How did it come to this? Me sitting alone on my birthday, wondering if I'm just forgotten. If I'm nothing more than old and useless, like she once said. She, Lisa, my daughter-in-law. Those words still echo in my mind sometimes, sharp as the day she said them. It wasn't screamed or anything dramatic. No, it was quieter, colder. Said in passing during an argument, but it landed like a stone in my heart. And life, well, life has a way of answering back, doesn't it? Sometimes gently, sometimes with a force that shakes everything. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You see, this story isn't just about that one moment. It's about all the years leading up to it, the love I poured in, the sacrifices I made without a second thought, the way a family can slowly shift until one day you wake up and realize you're on the outside looking in. Let me take you back. Back to when it all began, when my life was full of noise and warmth and purpose. I was born in a small town in the Midwest, the eldest of 4 children. My father worked long hours at the factory, and my mother, oh, my sweet mother, took care of us all with hands that never stopped moving. She taught me early what it means to give, to put others first, to hold a family together with quiet strength. I remember her staying up late sewing patches on our clothes, or skipping her own meals so we kids could have seconds. "A mother's love doesn't count the cost," she'd say with a soft smile. I met Robert, my husband, my Robbie, when I was 19. He was tall, with kind eyes and a laugh that made the whole room brighter. We married young, in a simple ceremony at the local church, and soon enough Mark came along. Our only child. He was everything to us. From the moment I held him in my arms, tiny and crying, I knew my heart would never be just mine again. Those early years were hard financially. Robbie worked construction jobs that came and went with the seasons. I took whatever shifts I could at the diner, coming home exhausted but always with a smile for my boy. I'd rock him to sleep at night, whispering promises. "I'll always be here for you, my sweet Mark. No matter what." And I was. Through scraped knees and school plays, through his teenage rebellions and his first heartbreak. Robbie and I sacrificed, skipped vacations, drove old cars, put every extra penny toward Mark's future. When he wanted to go to college, we made it happen. I worked double shifts, Robbie took overtime. We were so proud the day he graduated. Then he met Lisa. She was bright, ambitious, with a good job in marketing. They fell in love quickly, married in a beautiful wedding that we helped pay for. I welcomed her with open arms. "Your family now," I told her on their wedding day, hugging her tight. I meant it. When the grandchildren came, first Emily, then little Jack, I was over the moon. I babysat whenever they needed, cooked meals, helped with the house. I wanted to be the grandmother my own had been to me. Steady, loving, always there. As I sit here turning these pages in the album, I can almost smell the fresh bread baking in our little kitchen all those years ago. That's where so much of my life happened. Around that old wooden table, with flour on my hands and love in my heart. After Mark was born, we lived in a modest 2-bedroom house on the edge of town. Robbie built the fence himself, plank by plank, on weekends. I'd watch him from the window while nursing Mark, feeling so grateful for this life we'd made. Money was tight, but we had each other. Dinners were simple. Pot roast on Sundays, casseroles during the week, but the table was always full of talk and laughter. Mark was a lively child full of energy. He'd run through the yard chasing butterflies, or build forts out of blankets in the living room. Robbie would come home dusty from work, scoop him up, and they'd wrestle gently until Mark was giggling uncontrollably. I'd stand there watching, my heart swelling. Those were the days when everything felt possible. I worked part-time at the local library after Mark started school. I loved being around books. It was quiet, peaceful. But mostly I was home, baking cookies for his class, helping with homework, sewing costumes for Halloween. Robbie teased me sometimes. "May, you're spoiling him rotten." But I'd just smile and say, "A boy needs to know he's loved." When Mark was 10, Robbie got sick. It started with back pain, then fatigue. The doctor said it was his heart, years of hard labor catching up. He had to slow down, take lighter jobs. We worried about bills, but I picked up more hours and we made do. I nursed Robbie through the rough patches, sitting by his bed at night, holding his hand. Mark would tiptoe in sometimes, scared. "Is Dad going to be okay, Mom?" I'd pull him close. "Yes, darling. We'll get through this together." And we did. Robbie recovered enough to keep working, though not like before. Mark grew into a fine young man, tall like his father, smart, kind. He excelled in school, got scholarships. We were so proud. Then Lisa entered the picture. Mark brought her home for dinner one evening when he was 25. She was pretty, with long dark hair and a confident smile. She worked in the city, drove a nice car. I made my special lasagna, set the table with the good dishes. Robbie shook her hand firmly, and Mark beamed. At first, everything was wonderful. Lisa was polite, asked about our lives. She laughed at Robbie's jokes. After they left, Robbie said, "She's a keeper, son." I agreed. I saw how happy Mark was. They got engaged a year later. I helped with the planning, found a venue that fit their budget, sewed alterations on her dress when it needed it. On the wedding day, I cried happy tears watching them say their vows. The grandchildren came soon after. Emily first, a beautiful girl with Mark's eyes. I was there in the hospital, holding her tiny hand while Lisa rested. Then Jack 2 years later. Chubby cheeks and a laugh that melted me. I retired early from the library to help more. Robbie had passed by then, quietly in his sleep, 5 years after the wedding. Broke me losing him. But the grandkids kept me going. I drive over several times a week, babysit so Mark and Lisa could have date nights. I'd cook big meals on Sundays, pack leftovers for them. Lisa worked long hours, climbing the ladder at her job. Mark did too in engineering. They bought a bigger house in a nicer neighborhood. I was thrilled for them, but there were little signs even then. Lisa would sometimes sigh when I suggested old-fashioned recipes. "We try to eat healthy now, May." Or she'd rearrange the toys I'd organize for the kids. Small things. I brushed them off. Families adjust. Mark would call me less as time went on. "Busy week, Mom." I'd say I understood. I didn't want to be a burden. I planted those seeds myself, I suppose, always putting them first, never asking for much in return. Loneliness crept in slowly, like fog on a morning drive. I'd sit in my quiet house after babysitting, missing the noise of little feet. Robbie's absence felt heavier too. I talked to his photo sometimes. "Am I doing this right, love?" The first rail crack appeared about 10 years ago when I turned 60. The kids threw a small party, Mark, Lisa, the grandkids. It was nice, but Lisa kept checking her phone, mentioning work emails. Emily, then 12, rolled her eyes when I told stories about Mark as a boy. "Grandma, we've heard that one." I laughed it off, but it stung a little. Then came the move. Mark got a promotion, better pay, but in the city farther away. They sold the house and bought one in a gated community, 40 minutes drive. "You'll come visit often, Mom," Mark said. I nodded, helping pack boxes. Visits became fewer. The kids have soccer practice. Lisa's hosting book club. I drive there anyway sometimes, bringing homemade pies. Lisa would thank me politely, but I'd catch her glancing at the clock. One day I arrived unannounced. Emily had mentioned a school play. Lisa opened the door, surprised. "Oh, May, we're just heading out." No invitation inside. I handed over the cookies I'd baked and left, tears blurring the drive home. I told myself I was overreacting. Mothers-in-law are supposed to give space. But the comments started. Subtle at first. During a family dinner, Lisa said, "We need to modernize the kids' diet. No more of that old-fashioned cooking." I smiled tightly. Then health issues. My knees started aching, arthritis. Doctor said to take it easy. I mentioned it to Mark. "Mom, maybe think about downsizing your house. It's a lot to maintain." Downsizing. Selling the home where I'd raised him, where Robbie and I had built memories. But I considered it for them. The big fight came on a rainy afternoon. I'd been babysitting Jack, he was 8 then. He fell and scraped his knee. I cleaned it, bandaged it the way I always did. When Lisa got home, she saw it. "May, we use antibiotic ointment now, not that old stuff." Her tone sharp. I apologized. "I didn't know." Then she sighed. "Look, we appreciate the help, but maybe it's time you step back a bit. You're getting older and things change." Older. The word hung there. Later, alone with Mark, I said, "Does Lisa not want me around anymore?" He hesitated. "She's stressed, Mom. Work, kids. And honestly, sometimes your ways are a bit outdated." Outdated. Like I was a relic. But the worst was yet to come. It was Christmas 2 years ago. I hosted like always. Cooked for days, turkey, pies, everything from scratch. The house smelled wonderful. Everyone arrived late. Lisa complained about the heat. I turned it up for comfort. Then, in the kitchen, helping with dishes, she snapped. "I'm tired of pretending, May. You're always here, always interfering. Mark and I need space. You're old and useless now, retired, slowing down. We can't keep accommodating you." Old and useless. The word sliced through me. Mark heard from the living room. He came in, but said nothing to defend me. Just, "Lisa's had a long day." I stood there, hands in soapy water, heart shattering. Excused myself early, said I wasn't feeling well. Drove home crying. Called in sick to life for days. After that, distance grew. Visits stopped. Phone calls rare. Birthdays acknowledged with texts. I got sick last year, pneumonia. In hospital alone. Mark visited once. Lisa sent flowers, no note. Loneliness deepened. Friends said, "Let them come to you." But they didn't. That was the day my heart broke into pieces I thought I'd never mend. Every woman who's poured her soul into family and felt it slip away will know this ache deep in her bones. I realized then that love unspoken turns to loneliness faster than we imagine. She called me old and useless, and in that moment, I felt every year of sacrifice weigh on me like stones. But life has its quiet ways of balancing the scales, doesn't it? There are nights when I wonder if all mothers end up here, watching the world they built move on without them. The silence after those words was louder than any scream. If you've ever been made to feel small by the ones you loved most, this story is for you too. Dear listener, pause with me here for a moment. Can you feel the weight of those words? The ones that cut deeper than any knife because they come from family, the people we love most, the ones we've given everything for. Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Like no matter how much you give, it's never quite enough? Or that your love is taken for granted until one day it's just gone? Have you ever heard something so hurtful from someone close? A child, an in-law, that it made you question all your sacrifices? Would you forgive them right away? Or would it take time, maybe years? And tell me, have you ever felt like a guest in the home you helped build? Watching from the sidelines as life moves on without you? What about aging? Does it scare you, the thought of becoming old and useless in the eyes of those you raised? Or have you been the one pushing away, too busy with life to see the quiet pain in an elder's eyes? If any of this touches you, you're not alone. So many women carry these stories silently. Because here's a gentle truth I've learned. We give because love is who we are. Not because we expect tally sheets. But we deserve respect always. And sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when to love ourselves first. Now let me continue. The turning point came unexpectedly. The major turning point came last spring. I was in the garden, my one solace now, planting flowers Robbie loved. Tulips bright and bold. My phone rang. It was Emily, now 16. "Grandma? Can I come over? I need to talk." She arrived teary-eyed. Sat on the porch with me. "Mom and Dad are fighting a lot. About money, about everything. And, Grandma, I heard Mom say things about you. Bad things. I miss you. We talked for hours. She confessed they'd been struggling. Lisa's job stressful, Mark overworked. But more. Lisa regretted her words, but pride stopped her from apologizing. Then Mark called. Mom. Lisa's been diagnosed with breast cancer. Early stage but scary. My world tilted. Anger melted into fear. I drove to their house that night. Lisa was in bed, pale. When she saw me, tears came. May, I'm so sorry. For everything. I was wrong. Scared. Taking it out on you. I sat beside her, held her hand. Shoo. We're family. Treatment was tough. Chemo fatigue. I moved in temporarily, cooked soft meals, cared for the kids, drove to appointments. Mark broke down one night. Mom, I was wrong too. Letting distance grow. Forgive me. We cried together. Lisa recovered fully, thank God. Through it, bonds mended. She calls me mom now, truly. We talk openly. The grandkids visit often. I've learned so much. About forgiveness, not forgetting but choosing peace. About speaking needs early. Not silently sacrificing until resentment builds. Aging isn't useless, it's wisdom earned. We women carry so much, but we don't have to carry alone. To you listening, feeling invisible, tired, unloved, you are valuable. Your love mattered. Matters still. Find your worth inside, nurture it. Let go where needed, hold tight where possible. And remember, life answers back, often with grace we don't expect. Dear one, never dim your light for those who can't see it. Bloom anyway. And if you're the one who's drifted, reach out. A call, a visit. Heals more than you know. That's my story. Thank you for listening.